Many thanks for staying tuned to Business Breakfast on iBrandTV. Let's get talking now. The last conversation on the show this morning. Bearing any last-minute change, President Bola Tinubu yesterday, through his Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, sent the list of ministerial nominees to the Senate for screening and confirmation. President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, read out the names of the 28 nominees during plenary session yesterday at the Red Chamber, noted that additional nominees would be sent to the Senate in due course. Tinubu's first set of nominees was overshadowed by politicians including ex-governors, serving and former members of the Senate and House of Representatives. Top on the list for screening is the immediate past Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai, current Special Advisor on Special Duties, Communication and Strategy Dele Alake, former Governor of Osun State Adeboyega Oyetola, Wale Edu, and immediate past Governor of Rivers State Nyesom Wike, Adebayo Adelabu, and Betta Edu. Other personalities on the list include the former Deputy Governor of the Central Bank and former Commissioner of Health of Cross River State, Betta Edu, and Rivers State National, and also other APC stalwart. Let's get talking now. I'm now being joined live by the head of Strategy and Public Affairs at Nairametrics, Mr. Uju Ohaneye. Good morning, sir. Many thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me. It's always great to be talking to you.
Let's start off first off. Let me get your view. At last, the authentic ministerial list is out. First, what is your reaction to this? Is this expected or it came as a surprise to you?
A few names came as a surprise to me. One of the good things I see, and I think I'm happy about, is the fact that there are about 7 women.
Okay.
On that list. This is the first time I'm seeing a minister that comes out that, you know, the number of feminine representatives are this high. I think, I'm not sure there's any other president before now that has nominated up to 7 women on the very first take. So that makes me glad. That's about 25% of the list. So it just goes to show that this administration is looking towards having a balance, and like they say, and what what a number of proponents of governance says, the more representation you have of women on either the board or the cabinet, the better it is. So 25% for me is a good start. I don't know when he does send in the second list, there'll be additional women to join that list, and that'll be great.
Okay, based on the ministerial list that we've seen and the names therein, I want to know from your own point of view, is this any way different from President Bola Tinubu's predecessor, that's President Muhammadu Buhari, who took 6 months to present his kitchen cabinet, and at the end we saw a list redo with more politicians and fewer technocrats who Nigerians say performed below average. What's your thoughts on this?
So 2 things. The first for me is this. He had 60 days. I'm not sure he has met the 60 days. He will probably just fall behind it. I know that the Senate, all things being equal, maybe by Monday would meet all, if not most of them, and maybe just say, okay, they're good with them while they are with the second list. The Constitution says 60 days, and 60 days, I think, ends today. So he would tell you that he submitted the list before 60 days and he's met the conditions for it. So he's left for the Senate to appoint them. It could have been, I do think that he could have done this a bit earlier, but like, you know, politicking is what the order of the day is when it comes to this kind of ministerial list and all. Secondly, one thing I always like to tell Nigerians, and you know, everybody continues to say, oh, it's filled with politicians and not enough technocrats. I don't think that you have enough technocrats within the system. While Edu is a technocrat, he's not a politician. A number of the other people, some of the women on that list are technocrats and not politicians. The thing about it is, how do you strike the balance? Where do you need the technocrats to drive the systems? And in those places, you put them there. In terms of the Ministry of External Affairs, for instance, you also do need, aside from knowing that the permanent secretary is a technocrat, you need someone who is able to speak to some of the things that the country is doing and will command the respect. It's not just about technicality, but there's also the issue of being able to communicate to your external counterparts and being sure that you are communicating the message in terms of policies, in terms of the direction of the administration. So let's always be careful about just saying, oh, they are all politicians, but some of them were governors in the last few years, and they ran a state. However Nigerians think or feel, some people do believe that they ran their states well. Some others believe that they didn't get up to par. But these are the things you must consider. I really can't think of anywhere in the world where you don't have a mix of politicians and technocrats being appointed as ministers.
Okay, still on this ministerial list, because we have so much to talk about, and I hope time will permit us. Another critical look at the list. So. Okay.
I said I do hope so. I do hope so.
Okay, now, all right. So another critical look at the list shows a mixed bag, like you did made mention of, politicians and technocrats, and is believed to reflect national character. But many Nigerians are concerned about the component of this list. And some are saying, is it a situation that has to do with loyalty over competence? As in the case where the president is rewarding those who supported his emergence at the 2023 poll. What is your reaction to this? Do you have a divergent view over the component of the personalities of this list? Is it as a result of competence over loyalty?
So let me speak to a couple that I know. Are they saying that he's not competent? Adebayo Adelabu, are they saying he's not competent? It was one time CFO in First Bank. He was a deputy governor in CBN. He was the financial controller in I think he was Standard Chartered. So are we saying that they don't have competence? So let's always be careful. And like I said earlier, when it comes to the issue of bringing politicians into the cabinet, there's nowhere in the world that politicians, and that's why they're members of the party, they must have contributed to that party in one way or the other. And they will continue to contribute to the party and contribute to the country as a whole. But let's always be careful. And like I said, some ministries is about managing a ministry is about leadership. Sometimes you have to be able to blend your political capabilities along with your leadership capabilities to move a ministry forward and get the people to walk in the direction that you want to walk. Competence is about when they get there, are they going to perform? I don't know how you want me to explain that someone who rose or who ran an election and became a member of the Senate, or ran a business and got to the top of the business, doesn't have competence in terms of being a technocrat or being a politician. Because you're a politician doesn't mean that you were not initially a technocrat. So we need to be careful as Nigerians the way we bandy the words of, oh, he's a politician. And politics is just another profession that people go into. Some have finished illustrious careers in different places. And what's it called? For instance, a very good example is Baya Adelabu. He ran for governorship of Oyo State in 2019, but he had been in the private sector, got to the to the peak of what's it called? He was financial controller and CFO in at least 2 or 3 banks that I know.